taken care of. Get everything sent out and everything hooked up. Alright, we should be good. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is, I don't know what I was going to say January, but it's July 12th, and this is the July 12th TextWest Devstream. So, today we're going to be actually moving on to modeling out and creating the new version of the sewer combat. And this is because I feel like I've been just tinkering in combat systems I've been doing it for over a month now. And it's just, I feel like I'm not making a ton of progress because you can tinker forever. But we're at a point where it's decent, and I feel like it's going to be much faster for me to finish it up if I just start plugging the system in, model out the level, know what a level is going to look like, not just have all these test hypotheticals. And I know that I have bits and pieces that could still use a little bit of work on the combat system, but on the whole, it's pretty reliable and it's enjoyable. So we're going to move into implementation, and then we are going to, see what complications arise from that. So, this is the current combat level for the sewer troll. If I can get around without lagging. It is pretty straightforward. There's really not a lot to it. You can tell that I kind of used a lot of forced perspective tricks. I didn't model faces that would never be seen by the player because, there was only the one camera, and we didn't really have a lot of camera moves. In fact, it was pretty static. I don't even think it really moves. I think it initially starts here, then moves back to this position, and then it just kind of stays there for the rest of the combat. So obviously our new system is a lot more dynamic. It's going to be a lot more over the top, and because of that, I need to have a larger area. Now this level was initially modeled to be similar, not an exact match, but similar to the actual overworld level where you meet the troll. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to there real quick to show you what this section looks like there. It's not a one-to-one recreation. There's obviously some differences there because combat doesn't have all of the requirements that normal gameplay does. So you can see where the similarities are. Largely, it's just focusing on getting rough structures like the bars. Although in combat, you'll notice that we don't have this outcropping here for the doorway. It's just solid bars. And if we jump back to combat, you'll notice that it's going to be flying around everywhere because why not? You'll notice that we only have the one wall. We don't have a second wall because, the camera is never going to look that way. So why would we need it? But with our new system, that's not really a viable option just because cameras can switch positions. We might have a camera zoom in to here, in which case, we would kind of need that second wall. So we're going to have a little bit more of a fleshed out level, but not a ton. We're not going to have to remodel the entire sewer level, but we're going to have something that's probably about 1.5 times the amount of detail. Like, we won't be able to get away with this. We need to have back walls, and we need to have basically everything around the corner till the end of this hallway. So if we jump back to the main sewers level, probably the bounds of our new combat scene are going to be like this corner. And by bounds, I mean areas that we're going to model, but not necessarily see. Because our camera is probably going to be still largely confined to this hallway. We'll just have more movement in it, and therefore we need to have a little bit longer of an area that is kind of extending past where the viewpoint is. That way we can make sure that the player doesn't see the void, because that's the main thing you want to avoid is people just seeing the emptiness beyond the stage. So probably we'd go from this corner over here to probably model out this T, maybe not all the way down to the end there. Probably get a little bit of this darkness outcropping, and then again just get a little bit of this L. So we're basically looking at about like this, sort of what's framed up there almost. Kind of like a weird number 4, or I guess a Y would be a closer comparison. And I think that will cover all of our bases. We won't really have any potential for void peaking or anything like that. It'll all be pretty contained. So that's what we're going to be starting with today. We're going to be starting by modeling out the rough. I'm not going to worry too much about textures. I mean, we have all the textures already made, obviously. But to start, I'm just going to worry about getting the shape right. Okay, so let's go. I have a sewer combat modeling stage that I have up. Let's go ahead and create a new shape. Obviously, we're going to be using Pro Builder today. I'm going to start with, normally I start with a cube, but I think I can actually, let me think. I probably can use a plane instead. Let's set our segments to be 0 and 0, so it's just one big thing. Let's also go ahead, while I'm here, zero this out. There we are. Get our position started. I have placed the combat characters for the troll and the hero for reference, just so that I can see what they look like. And probably what we're going to do to start is, how do I want to handle this? I could probably make them be separate. Yeah, it's probably fine. Okay. So let's turn snapping on. We'll make this increment by one whole thing. And let's go ahead and say our width is going to be 3. I think that's fair. Yeah, we might be able to actually get away with 2, but I think I'm going to go for more. What's a good comparison? Think like a Final Fantasy style can't talk. A Final Fantasy style aesthetic. God, that's a really weird tongue twister. And what I mean by that is essentially we'll have, kind of like what I showed, a similar area. It's just going to be perhaps a little more exaggerated in scale, just so that we can make sure that we have enough room for our camera movements and interesting animations. So let's go ahead. I'm going to slide this to like here. I probably should probably check how things look frame-wise. So this is going to be a little awkward, but I'll try to like put it here. Okay, so this is not bad. You know what, before I actually do that, let me jump over to, let's see, combat. Let's jump over to our internal, or our test combat scene. Let's see, where are you? Scenes, combat scene. I will not save because I don't want to. Woof, okay, that did not like that. How far away did I place these guys? About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 units apart. If we go back to here, we're looking at about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 units apart, so that's actually pretty much what I want. So this is probably the bulk of the area that the combat will take place in. It's about 10 meters by 3 meters. Let's go ahead. Should I make that down to 2? Hard to say. I think I'm gonna go for 3, just so that I can have a little bit more breathing room. And this is the area that I would probably want for the area that the camera will focus on. So it'll be probably something like this. Oops, that is not what I wanted to do. Camera is here. Okay. Seems about right. So let's go ahead and extend this height by 5. Oh, sorry, did that backwards. 15. Hey, Chris, moved to 2018.2 yet? Nope. I'm still working on trying to improve the Substance plugin enough that that can be a thing. Yeah, I probably won't make the jump to 2018 until the Substance and Unity plugin is up to snuff, because you know I have a ton of substances, and I kind of need that. So let's go ahead and move this to about here. It's pretty good. Can I go? Should I go all the way up to 20? That seems a bit excessive. Let's go to like 18. I'm looking at probably doing something like this. Then we'll have a wall behind. Well, no. Like something like that. So this will be the grading area in the center of the hallway. And we'll probably put the wall right about here, 4 meters away from the edge. That seems like a good position. It's far enough away from the troll that it's not going to cause visual confusion, and it's not too close to the edge that it's going to make it feel small over there. So I think this is a good size, 18. Let's go ahead and build this plane. Saw Substance stuff on sale on Steam. Oh, oh yeah, I forget that Steam does that. I always forget that Steam also sells like application software, so you can get the tools to make games on Steam. I always forget that that's a thing. But I mean, I just subscribe to the Substance Live, which is like $20 a month, and you get all of their stuff alongside a bunch of substances per month, and it's a pretty good deal actually. Especially because I think it does some weird like rent to own system, so after a while you just have enough credits to buy a license basically. And it's a really good system, and it's honestly something that you only would. I think most companies should adopt that, but I feel like Algorithmic did that because they are absolutely confident in their product, and they are absolutely right to do so, because it is probably the best pricing model I think I've seen for subscriptions. Anyway, so this is our grading. Let's go ahead and real quick swap between here. We're going to grab the two edges here. Okay. And then we're just going to extrude those down. Probably about 1 meter is fine. Honestly, probably half a meter is fine. Probably do something like that. Yeah, it's fine. You know, we're not really gonna see it much. So, again, we're adopting the more stylized approach for our combat levels. So, Unity should do that or something. I feel like I threw money away on the Plus version. I did it for 1D, so I wouldn't. Splash screen, not worth it. Yeah, and that's the thing. It like Unity's subscription model really is aggressive. Like they kind of browbeat people into doing the subscription service. And it's largely because, yeah, they have the whole splash screen customization. And what a lot of developers tend to do is just work in free until they're about ready to launch, and then you subscribe, and then, you don't have the splash screen. And at least Plus exists, because before, the solution was you just had to straight up get Pro, and that sucks. Because nowadays it seems like Pro is the tier you get if you want to have support from Unity for things like Unity services, like their multiplayer, their analytics, and all that. And of course, you can use those things for free, but they prioritize Pro developers. Oh yeah, and then with Plus you get like discounts and free assets every now and then. I forgot about that. Anyway, so first things first, let's go ahead and say material editor. I've got like way too many things here. Oh, good. I can't shrink that in anymore. Okay. Let's see. Substance. Intro. Sewer. Grating, I'm guessing. Yes. Let's go ahead and apply this. Okay. Oh my. That's a lot of grating. And I can't see that, so I'm going to turn off my lighting just to make sure. Okay. Probably don't quite need that, although, yeah, that's really big. Okay, so this is going to be fun. We're going to be modeling... no. I'm just going to apply materials for now. I'll worry about tiling and actually getting the textures to look right in a little bit. So, but recently I had to patch, so splash screen is back. Yeah. I think. Do you have to sign up for a full year too when you agree to do Plus and Pro? I feel like you do. I feel like there's a month, or not a month, a year-long commitment. Otherwise, they just don't do it, which is kind of shitty on their part. Okay, so for this, I'm gonna go ahead and show preview again. Zero you out, and move this to about here. You know what? I worked this up. I think I'm going to make this 2 meters instead of 3. So let's go ahead and select and you as well. Grab you. Okay. So we're just going to move you in by about that. Okay, good. And I did that just so that I could make these guys 2 as well, because it feels like they should be. I don't know, there's something about, like, this just looks a little bit better. Yeah, I like it. Okay. That's probably decent. Let's go ahead and build this. Oh, shoot. That's right. This is one of the things that I am sad about for Pro Builder is that there's no easy way to set the pivot. I think you can center the pivot transform value, but it really would be nice if I could put it wherever I want. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a year. And I understand the whole cheaper if you buy it in bulk. That's kind of a thing that all subscriptions do, and it's basically a way of saying, like, if you agree to give us all of your money up front, then you get it for cheap. I mean, it's still expensive, but it's cheaper overall by usually like $100 or a couple. Okay, so let's go ahead and build the shape real quick. So this is going to be the stone sides of our area. Let's go ahead and I'm going to need. Oop, okay. We're going to need to extrude this. Okay, not working with me, huh? I see how it is. Let's try this again. There we go. Going down. And it's actually going to go down by 2, I'm going to say. Yeah, so this is 1 full meter down now. And... Oh, shoot. You know what I shouldn't have done? Let's go ahead and select both of these things. Actually, all 3 of these. I need to extrude the faces down. So let's go ahead and extrude down, and then I will just select the bottom one. I will also extrude that down. Okay. So we're going to want this. This is going to be fun. We're going to extrude this out. Probably about 2 meters. No, you know what? 1 or 2 meters. Maybe 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 looks good. And let's see here. Oh, shoot. Why did I do that? Control Z in this crap. So probably actually what I want to do is extrude them all down. Going down. That way I can just extrude. Come on, there we are. You to there. Looking good. Let's go ahead and just extrude this one all the way. Probably about there, honestly. No, I probably... Well, You know what? I'm actually going to do something. I'm going to pull in the sewer combat level in the background just so I can compare size. So that's actually comparable. I'm also going to cheat, and I'm just going to move this all the way. Yeah, it's slightly... The new stage is slightly bigger. That worked out really well, actually. Wow, that was almost exactly right. I wanted about 1.5 times the size, and it's kind of that. All right. That worked out well. Okay, let's go ahead and unload this. Unload scene, don't save. All right. Let's go ahead and continue to move this. I'm going to say... Actually, you know what? Right there is about fine, so let's go ahead and extrude this 1.3. Alright, let's extrude this one. Probably just to there. That's fine. Okay. And let's see. What else do I want? Let's get the other side. So we're going to extrude this about 1.5 times. And we're going to extrude this pretty much just until... Probably, I guess, to match this one. And one more over. Okay. That's about as far as we're going to need for the camera angles. Basically, again, we're trying to just capture the possible angles that our cameras will see. and that's not huge. It's a pretty limited area, but it's larger than the previous version of this level. So okay, so that's the left side. Let's go ahead and start naming these just so that I don't forget what they are. And we'll say walkway right. Okay. Let's go ahead and create another plane. Zero this out. Let's go ahead and move it around. Okay, there we are. Same thing. Let's go ahead and grab you, grab you. Oop. No, I guess I'm not grabbing you. I'm grabbing you guys. Okay, we're going to extrude down once. Then we'll extrude down again. And from there, go ahead and grab this. And that's probably good for you. Let's go ahead and extrude out to here. Oop, oop, lag. Okay. Let's go ahead and extrude. And then extrude. Oh, no, that's going to be 2, and then extrude 1.5 again. Okay, there we go. Probably fine to just go about there. And that's pretty much the end of the walkways, as that side is related. I don't know if I should. Let's go ahead and we'll shrink this one in by about 1 meter. And that is so that I can do this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And after that, I don't think I really need to worry about it. Okay, so those are the 2 walkways that are part of our fighting area. We still have one, well, actually, no, we have 2 walkways and our own secondary grid, or grading that needs to happen for our, for the other grading section, because you can slightly see that from here. So we're going to need to do that. I'm going to take a drink first. Have you had a chance to mess around with 2018.2, by the way, Garrett? Because it seems like there's some really cool stuff in there, and I'm very sad that I haven't really gotten to experiment with it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create... Let's just make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Width of 1.5, because that's what I'm doing, and we'll give it a height of... probably a lot. Although, actually, you know what? I think I kind of borked this already. This one's actually doing pretty terrible. Let me see. I will go ahead and just say 1.5. We'll make it like a square. And let's build that plane. Okay, I'm going to move this back in because I did this wrong. Let's also go ahead and shrink this in. Oh, I was really worried about that. Okay, which means that I need to do this. Let's see, delete faces. Okay. And now I have to conjoin all of these. Okay, we have 4 selected, right? Yep. Alright, let's go ahead and... Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Really? You're gonna do that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Fill hole. Oh, you have got to be kidding. Why? I hate it when it does that. Fine, let's try this. Bridge. I hate when I have to do that. Fill hole really should have worked there. Okay, let's go ahead and drag this out a fair bit more. Oh, dear. That's not okay. Do we have... It's just the one? Really? Hold on. Come on, work with me here. Okay, selected edges. Can I delete? I don't know if it'll let me delete that. I really... Seriously, though? Ugh. Why you do this to me, Unity? Ah, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, good. It's an Engon. Oh, that's not good. Ooh. Alright. Let's just delete this. God, freaking ridiculous. Whatever. I was going to have to delete those things anyway, I guess, at some point. Which, speaking of, I should probably go ahead and delete you. Delete faces. Alright. So, that's fun, because it means that instead of having the convenience of faces, I'm going to have to use edges. Okay, we're looking at 2 selected edges. Good, good, good. The reason that I had to redo this is because I forgot about the darkness alcove, which is probably going to go about here, and I need this to just go way beyond that. Okay. Probably, let's see. I want the, it'll be easier if I move this. Okay. So the waterway is about 2 meters wide. And we're probably going to end up having the water be like 0.2 meters off the ground there. But for now, we want this to be 1, 2. Okay. And let's go ahead and move it up by 1. And I'm going to go ahead and just say, let's put you to here roughly. I'm going to say here. And let's go ahead and stretch this. If it's not going to... Okay, weird. Nope, still on 2017.3. Wanted to skip 2018.1. Didn't seem to have enough of what I needed. I need to wait for all my assets to catch up. Yeah, that's part of the fun thing about upgrading whole Unity versions is like third-party assets just usually just give up and break. I'm going to save real quick. I'm going to jump over to our sewer level just to see what our actual size is. So, let's see. It's about the same size as this, so that's probably fine to do. Okay, let's jump back in here. Okay, so we probably want this to be 5 meters. Then, I'm not going to make it as large as this area over here, but it's going to be comparable. And all the lag in the world. Okay, so let's go ahead and stretch this to like, 4 is probably fine. Okay, let's go ahead and select this. Extrude you down by 1, and pretty much from there, that's all we really need. So let's go ahead, grab this, extrude this, probably to about 4 more meters. Yeah, that seems fair. Okay, let's go ahead and stretch this out again. Stretch all the way to about there, and then we're going to stretch it out, and then that's pretty much it for that one. I don't actually need to model the faces over here, now that I think about it, because the camera's never going to swing over this way. Unless I want to have a super dramatic... Nah, that's fine. I was thinking of having like the battle camera be the super dramatic ride through the level, but nah, that's a lot of effort. Looks like it's possible to move the pivot on Pro Builder, but it's weird. It involves using freeze transforms, moving the object. Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing, is like, so basically what freeze transform does is it just sets the pivot at 0, 0, 0, I believe, regardless of if your mesh is anywhere near that. So if you're not careful, you can just get a pivot way off in space, basically. There's also a pivot for centering it, I think, if I remember correctly. But it like takes the bounds of the model and then just puts the pivot in the center of it, and that's also not an ideal solution. Yeah, and I mean it's not really a huge issue. It's mostly just like my own obsessive compulsive disorder, because I hate it when you get like art assets from the asset store that don't have don't have good pivot points. They don't have sensible naming conventions or anything like that. So I take my naming and my pivoting very seriously, because that was instilled into me as when I was in college, quite rightly so, because it's always annoying when that's not the case. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab you and you. We're going to extrude. 3. Okay, we're going to grab this. We're just going to extrude this out. And we're probably just going to extrude this out to like there. And that at that point is good enough. Oh, shoot. So close, and I was so stupid again. Control Z this. Because this is not actually what I need it to extrude to. Instead, oops. Grab you. Grab you. We're going to extrude you. Well, we're not going to extrude. We're just going to move you. Let's see. 1 to there. Then we're going to extrude you. And you know what? Actually, here. Just before we do that. So right about there. Here. We're going to extrude these guys. 1, 2, 3. That way I can extrude this. Okay. And now I can more easily get this. Extrude you. 1, 2, 3. And then extrude the face. Cool. So that should basically put it behind the wall so you can't actually see anything, so don't need to worry about it. Good. So all we have left is the final area over here. Then we'll have our ground plane. So I guess I should probably go ahead and model the actual water plane, just so that I have that as a frame of reference, because that's the only thing that really goes between everything. And I guess while I'm here, let's go ahead and delete these faces because they'll never be seen. Okay. Make sure I don't have anything else going on. Everything looks good. All right. And again, I don't need this face over here because you will never see it. So no reason to have it. Go ahead and save real quick. Let's see. I'm finding more and more I should just make my own models. Yeah. Wait, so like upgrading to 2018 breaks your models? That's weird. Usually that would only that would make sense if they were using like substances, but if it's just the raw model, that's kind of strange. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. It's going to be 2 by 2. Let's go ahead and just build this plane. Zero this out. Move our model around to about here, to about here. Okay, so then we are also going to want to set this at 0.25. Hit done here. Or actually, no, let's go ahead and keep this at 0.5 for now, and then I will just move it up by 0.25 when I'm done. So let's grab our edges. We're just going to extrude to there. Then we're going to extrude 2 meters again, and we'll extrude a little bit, probably to about there. That's about all I need. And we'll extrude a little bit to probably about there, and that's all I need. Zoop. Let's go ahead and grab you. Got the UVing that's going to need to be done on this. So much fun. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this. Should I break it up? Nah, it's fine. The light mapping might be a little weird, but it's should work. Okay, let's grab this. Go all the way over to here. Let's go ahead and go to here. All right, so that's our water plane. I don't think we really need any more than what we have here because everything else is hidden by the walls. Let's go ahead and real quick, I'm going to just grab this and I'm going to move it up by 0.25 because I need it to be part way between the edges and again with the lag. Basically, I want it to be enough of a thing that you can see it through the grating. Okay, so that's where we are currently. Let's go ahead and finish up our. Probably I want to go here, and I think actually let me go ahead and save. I'm gonna go look at my sewer level. Now, I mean, I get stuff that isn't UV'd right. Scale is weird. Pivots is great. Oh yeah. Now that's always my. That's my biggest gripe about art assets on the asset store. We get them a lot at work because they're just convenient to grab. Okay, so this is flush with the wall. I wasn't sure if that was the case or not. But my God, they are really just the worst. Let's go ahead and go down here. Names are all weird. They might have just terrible practices. Pivots are off. Things might have arbitrary scaling, and whenever I see that, my first thought is like, how do you, as a professional, ever think, yeah, this is good. This is what I should sell. Like it's not acceptable. Let's go ahead and bring this back to 0.5. Done here. Okay, and then we'll just extrude this to like probably. I guess we'll match this about there. Okay, let's go ahead and select our faces here because we shouldn't need them. Ooh, got an extra one. Go ahead and delete those faces. Oh, definitely don't need you. These faces are in the wall. Completely not necessary. And lag. Okay, do we have anything else here? No, we're looking pretty good. Okay. So final thing to model is just going to be our last walkway over here. So let's go ahead and say a width of 1.5. Let's go ahead and preview this. And that's probably okay. And let's just go ahead and move it over here while we're at it. Something about there. Yep, looks good. All right, so let's go ahead and build that. Cool. Grab this. You assume they are pros. Well, if you're selling your stuff, you should be. If you want to sell something on the asset store, I feel like you should be confident enough that if someone bought it, they would be satisfied. Like that's all I'm asking. You don't have to be a professional. You didn't have to go to school for it or anything like that. You need to be sure that you're going to give them something worthwhile. Like don't just throw something up there because you're like, oh, this will make me all the money in the world. I mean, most of the time it won't, but you know, I don't know. It's annoying sometimes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and extrude this to like there. That looks good. Yep, work with me here. Okay, everything looks good. It's all nice and modeled out. Yeah, I'll make it a separate mesh. Why not? Okay, let's click off of this. Let's build plane again, which I totally worked that up. I should have made that 2 meters across, but oh well. Let's go ahead and put this over here. Okay, let's hit this. We're just going to drag you out to here. Extrude you down one, and this will just be over to about there. Arbitrary, but good. Okay, so now that's all of our primitives modeled out. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. That's all of our ground primitives. I completely forgot the wall and the ceiling. You know, those the other 2 parts of a room. You know, you got the floor, you got walls and ceilings. Pretty basic. Hello. Let me see if I can get this. Is it Sene or Sen? I kind of want to say Sene. You have a Devstream or is this a solo project? Or a dev team? This is just me. I am doing all the art, programming, sound design, modeling, everything, which is why it takes me a while. Currently, we are modeling out the new sewer combat level because I have changed the combat system and it is much better now. Also, welcome to the Devstream. Okay, Sene. That's what I thought. It seemed like a nay thing because usually you don't get 2 N's in a row unless the second N is supposed to be pronounced. So, okay, let's go ahead and say We need to do our walls next. I guess I should actually apply some quick or textures to everything just so we can see it. Let's go ahead and do multiple things here, and I think that's all I want for that. Oh, you know what I did forget? I forgot the hallway over here. Of course I did. Let's go ahead and apply sewer floor to this. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, I think we're good there, so let's go ahead and say apply. And then I'm going to extrude this before I forget. I'm also going to just be lazy and kind of extrude this out arbitrarily, because most of this is going to be hidden by a wall. It's not really a thing that I need to worry about, I don't feel. Okay, so it's probably about good. Let's go ahead and select our water, sewer water. Everything is just tiled way too much. Ugh. Okay, and also, so let me see. Are we gonna feel too claustrophobic here? Nah, I think we can work with that. Let me try. Let's try this again. Game view. Yeah. Okay, lately I'm getting very interested in developing, so I'm watching a lot of streams now to learn a little from different places. Probably take a course soon. Oh, cool. Do you have an idea what you want to make? So I think this is good framing, and I think this falls pretty well within our. Like, we have enough space here, I think, for our camera to move around a little bit. I don't think we're going to get really crazy over the top camera movement in this alleyway, just because it's pretty narrow. But it should allow us to have at least some amount of camera movements to make it feel a lot more dynamic. Okay, so next, now that we have, right, let's go ahead and apply that real quick. Sewer grading, apply, cool. Let's go ahead and save. And finally, we are going to start with a plane. It will be, let's go to the preview. Its orientation, I guess, is going to be right. Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and position it over here. So probably about like right here. Now, normally, I would actually have modeled this slightly differently, but because this is the sewer level and it is actually going to be floating in a black void, I don't need to worry about seams. Normally, you have to worry about having slight overlap on your corners because otherwise you'll get subpixel imperfections, and that causes this weird stuttering effect that if you are a long-time viewer, you'll know I've complained about before. And I know how to fix those now, but I don't have to worry about that with this particular level because it's just floating in a black void, so it's not a concern. Puzzle game like Portal, but then my style and different, not copy-paste. That makes sense. Do you have a particular mechanic in mind, or are you thinking of also using the Portal style, or the Portal mechanic? Okay, so we're going to say our height is, well, for one, let's just make our width 1, and our height 4? Oh no, we need way more than that. 8? That might be a bit. Well, I don't. It's kind of hard to tell, honestly. Let's give it a width of also 18 because that's just going to take us all to the end here. So that would be our wall, which actually, now that I think about it, is going to get all kinds of weird up in here. Because we're probably going to actually have our camera. Oh my goodness. Our camera is going to reside outside of the wall. Ugh. Ugh. That's not great. Let's see. What is the height of the player in this game? I believe it's averaged to about 2 meters, a little bit less than that. I think it's actually about 1.8 8 meters, which is about 6 feet. I figured that would be a good, decent size for everything. So yeah, and you can see here that it's about 2 meters. Each one of these squares, by the way, is a meter in Unity. So I could make it 8. That seems a little tall. So I'll make that 7. Yeah, 7 might be a little bit better. Yeah, okay, I think that works. Oh, you know what I can do is I can drag in the old one for reference. So yeah, the old one was probably about 6 meters. So we want to go to about 7. That's about right then. Okay, let's go ahead and build this. Ta-da! And oh boy, then comes the fun part. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just do edge selection. I'm also gonna actually, I think I'm gonna make this one big object, and it should be fine. Question is, would I want to make it one big object, or should I make it 2 for light map reasons? You know what? I'll probably break it up just so that I can. Oh shoot! You know what I do need is I need my pipes, which means I need to actually redo this a little bit. So let's select our height here. I'm going to bring this down to probably about there actually. Okay, let's go ahead and move up by 1. The pipes will probably only be that half meter. Okay, and then let's move everything else up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 more, 7. Okay. Ah, freaking! I don't like how it occasionally just stutters like that. Anyway, so this strip in the middle here is for our pipe, so that we can have magic flowing if we need it. Let's go ahead and grab these guys. We will extrude them out. Let's just extrude them all the way up to the end here. You from Detroit? I am not from Detroit. I'm not from Michigan, actually. Detroit's in Michigan, right? Yes, it's in Michigan. I'm from Indiana, actually, so I'm one state south of Detroit. I have been to Detroit, but I do not live there. Are you from Detroit? Okay, so let's go ahead and right here. Come on, work with me here. I'm going to select these guys. We're just going to extrude down by 1. That should work pretty well. All right. So here's my thing. I could make separate walls for like all of these areas. I could also just straight up drag this wall across and build like all around everything. That would probably be fine. You know what? That's fine. I think that's might as well. No, I'm from Belgium. Yeah, that's not quite from Detroit. Just out of curiosity, why did you ask if I was from Detroit? I don't feel like I have a particularly Detroit accent, but I could be wrong there. I don't think I've ever had someone ask me that before. Okay, so let's just go ahead and stretch this out. We are going to be lazy, by the way. I'm not going to bother with this because you're never going to see it. So let's go ahead and extrude this. Then extrude this. Extrude this. Extrude here. To here. And we're just going to continue going. Okay, go to here. Should I close it off? Yeah, it's probably alright for me to do so. I looked up the time zone. Oh, based on my time. Yeah. I guess I don't technically need to show my taskbar, but I do that just so that I can show you my desktop instead of having to stream specific windows, because I've learned from past streams that does not always work out well. Shoot, you know what? Actually, hold on. There we go. No reason for me to extrude there because it would be behind everything. So let's go ahead and continue this. And extrude. And swoop. Okay. Extrude down. Swoop. Okay, we'll go ahead and go to here. Down to here again. Over to here. And then once again, we don't need to worry about you. Alright, almost done. And then all we have left is a ceiling, which is pretty straightforward and easy to do. And then we'll have our level modeled out. Also, thank you for the follow, Sine. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab these. Grab you, get rid of you. Extrude. And I probably don't really need to have these two conjoin because the camera should never really be in a position where it can see this wall, so it's not really a concern. I only did it on the other areas, even though you'll never see those walls either, just because I was kind of lazy. Let me make sure that actually that's not the case. Oh, that's kind of the case there. That's okay, this area is going to be dark, so it won't really matter. And it's never going to be a thing here? Yes, good. Okay, just making sure that I couldn't see the actual barriers. Okay, so that should work pretty well. Okay, assuming things don't lock up on me again. Let's go ahead and apply our material to this. So I'm going to want to have the sewer wall. God, like everything's tiled way too much. Like way too much. God, this is giving me flashbacks to my freaking labyrinth. Which I don't think I ever showed you guys, actually. I did that so long ago. It like predates maybe my streaming. Oh, those were the days. What was the hardest thing you had to design for Text Quest? Probably I would have to say the parser, just because there are still a couple of hiccups every now and then with it that I have to iron out. And it's all because the parser is a passive system, and if people notice the parser, it's one of two things. One really good, one okay, and one really bad. The okay thing is people will notice it if they're also developers and they're just curious about the parser. But most of the time, if people notice it, it's because it messed up somehow and it was preventing them from doing something that they wanted to do. And that's bad. So I've worked really hard to make sure that the parser is a pleasant experience to interact with. I haven't completely succeeded in some areas, but for a lot of areas I have succeeded pretty well. And I am happy with that. Okay, so we're gonna grab these. Is this really half a meter? Yep, that's right. Okay, let's grab you, grab you, grab you. We are not going to grab that because there are no pipes on this wall, and we are going to apply our sewer pipes. No, it's the let's see, magic pipe. Is that what I called it? Let's see, there should be sewer wall pipes. That's what it is. Okay. And that is probably, I mean, it's not okay for now. Let's see, I probably want to scale that all off. Okay, the textures you're using, are they the program or are they made for the game itself? No, it's fine to ask so many questions. So this is the actual aesthetic for the game. So real quick, I can show you that. Go ahead and save this. I'm going to jump over to the main sewer level. So this word-based texturing, this is just how the game is set up. So like water says water, the floor says floor. It's a very weird art style, but it works really well, and it's fun to work in. So currently what we're setting up, by the way, is these pipes. So we need to set them up in such a way that it's kind of annoying because it's not just the pipes. I also have a mesh that's immediately behind them. That is the actual magic that flows. But yeah, I've made all of these textures. So these are all custom made in Substance and Adobe Illustrator because that's apparently the best workflow that I have. So it's pretty fun. Okay, let's jump back here. Okay. And I'm going to turn off lighting because it's all kinds of weird until I bake it. Let's see. I think we're pretty good. Oh, right. Just real quick, I guess. This is going to be fun. Yeah, this is going to be really fun. Go ahead and select these. Can I move these around without things? Oh, good. They're separate. That is really lucky. I was really concerned that they weren't going to be separate. Okay, let's go ahead. We're going to scale these down. Oh, boy. Basically scale them till they fit in this area. Probably right about maybe a little bit more. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, definitely a little bit more. Let's go ahead. Oh, come on. I hate it when it does that. All right. Let's see. I guess we'll kind of just give these weird offsets. Well, thank you very much. I try. I actually scrapped all of my art a little over 2 years ago and redid it because they were not good enough. So the new textures are quite a bit more interesting. Mostly because they have normal maps, so you can see like they have tiny imperfections on their surface that make them actually interesting to look at. Let's go ahead and put you about there. I think that's good. And we do need to make sure that they line up properly, but that's not a huge ask. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab these and sequence them in order. Put this over to here. Okay. And fortunately, I don't need to be as precise as I normally am in my texture placement because it's not. Since the player does not have free reign to move the camera around, I don't have to really worry about them getting into weird shenanigans and getting like right up against an area and seeing a seam. So fortunately, that's not as much of a concern. That being said, I mean, I'm still going to try to be somewhat close, obviously. Just because, why not? I'm assuming that this is the... Come on. Oh, I lost that fight. Dang. Ah, of course, it's a weird one. Haha. Okay, so let's see. We're going to need you, which, of course, you're located somewhere weird. Go ahead and move this to about there. Again, it's all pretty minor, so it's not much of a concern. Just doing some quick UVing. Just to make sure that everything lines up. Let's see. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, looking good. Moving this over to here. And that's pretty much the ones that I care about, right? Okay. Oh yeah, so Sene, are you, you said you're interested in game development. Do you have an idea for what tool set you're going to use? Are you going to use Unity? Are you more of an Unreal person? Or are you just kind of getting your feet wet on that still? Figuring it all out? Let's go ahead and move this. Oh, right. Sorry, I completely forgot. You guys can't see my UV editor. I've been doing that off screen. I feel rude. Let's go ahead and move that all in. Okay. So probably we're good about there. So that's our blue pipe in the combat scene. Looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and just real quick, I'm going to save this scene. I'm going to move this over to here real quick. I'm going to jump over to the sewer level just to see what roughly I should try to do for tiling. Let's see. So probably we're looking at 3. Ooh, 2. Okay. So about 2 blocks. And of course this is all kind of just rough, so that's fair. Over to there. I actually don't know if that's going to be... That might be difficult. It might be easier to just do 3. Okay. So I'm going to select all of that. And then I'm going to grab all of these guys. And are they currently one big group? Because that would be really convenient. But they're probably not. So if I start scaling these guys, they're gonna blow out. Okay. Can I group you? So I could, in theory, I think, group these guys. Let's see. Vertex edge. There's a way to do this. I think there might be a shortcut that I can use. Space. Here we are, group selected faces. Oh my goodness. No. That is not even close. Okay, well that's unfortunate. I guess we're going to just scale this and get it to be the appropriate size. Let's bring this down a little bit. I think we're going to be looking for something like 3 high. Seems about... Ooh, okay. Let's zoom in a little bit here. That's about right, actually. Right about there. Let's scale it in just slightly more. Something like that. And that's mostly so that I can just have actual... Come on, work with me. Have our mortar on both sides of the pipe. So this looks about correct. It's slightly more tiled. Or slightly less tiled. No, it's slightly more tiled than the overworld. But again, this is the combat area, so that is fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and click off of that. Hit save. Still figuring things out. That makes sense. I mean, when you're getting into game development, there are so many options nowadays. Unity looks very fun to work with. I'm scared of the coding, though. One nice thing about coding games is you can see the results. Provided it works. That's true as long as it works. And, I mean, Unity is getting better in that regard, and, well, it's still kind of awkward for people that don't know how to code at all. I think they are working on a visual scripting solution. And there are visual scripting solutions on the asset store, but that's money. So, although I assume there are probably some free ones on the asset store. Okay, so we're gonna grab these guys. They're gonna need to go, of course, over to here, just to make things maximally awkward. This stuff. Oh no, I don't. Yeah, that, and that's the thing about visual scripting, right? Is if you're a programmer, you hate visual scripting for the most part because it's restrictive and annoying. But if you've not done any sort of programming, then it's actually pretty nice, just because it lets you set up some basic behaviors, get some functionality going. It's good for prototyping. And you could, in theory, make an entire game with visual scripting. It's just that you would probably have some weird logic loops that you would have to set up to get it to do what you want sometimes. But yeah, as a programmer, it can be very frustrating to deal with actual visual scripting, just because it's really restrictive in my opinion. Okay, select you guys. no idea what you guys are, but let's go ahead and move you over to here so I can get everything set up. Yep, come on, work with me here. Okay, let's go to about here. Nice. And if I were truly as obsessive as I was when I made the sewer level, I would give these guys creases. But I'm not that obsessive because it would be pointless and no one could see it. So, okay, let's see. Where are you guys? Of course, you're way over there where it makes no sense. Let's move you over to here. Oh, come on, work with me here. I will say, though, I'm very happy that ProBuilder's UV tool is no longer complete crap. In the past, it would just, like, you'd open it up and it would just immediately crash. So it's nice that that's no longer really the case. Although I'm sure it still is partially the case. How? How did that work? Whatever. Okay. Work. It froze. Okay, there we go. Aha. Going to bed. All right. Yeah, get some rest. I always feel bad because it's always late in Europe whenever I stream. I feel like I get a couple of people that just can't tune in because it's so late. But all right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Sene. Have a good night. And I will see you Saturday, hopefully. All right, so let's go ahead and line these guys up real quick. Okay, that's good enough for me. Let's grab you, and you, and you. Drag you around. Oh, come on. Stop it. I hate when it... That's one of the only things I think I have griping-wise about our UV tool for ProBuilder is that it's sometimes pretty easy to just not register a click on the arrows, and then it just deselects what you had selected, which is very annoying to me. Grab you, and I guess before we do anything else, let's go ahead and where even are you? What are you? You're nothing. I don't need to worry about you. You can just go off somewhere. All right. Let's put you here. So getting, I guess, because we're doing UV layouts right now, going back to the topic of 2018.2, there is apparently some new weird way of doing asset references. I forget what they called it. It was like something asset references. And basically it's like a way to unload all of your assets from the scene and instead load them in from asset bundles, which is a weird approach, but it's interesting. And they seem really invested in that system, what with them having a bunch of their stuff be retooled on the back end to basically work with it. It's an interesting idea. And I think their idea was to simplify how assets are referenced so you don't have to have direct references. You can kind of load them in at runtime. It's an interesting process, to say the least. Okay, so that is our... Well, that's not really much of anything. I guess I still have all of this to do. Select all this. And I guess I should probably go ahead and set up the pipe material for the... dang it! I should have done those at the same time. I should have had both of these pipes set up material-wise so that I wouldn't have to scale them individually, because now it's possible they could be slightly different. Why do I do that to myself? It's because I don't think things through, that's why. What even are you? You're a weird thing that doesn't really need to be there, but sure, why not? Actually, no, I'm not even going to bother with you, because no one will see you. I guess I shouldn't have bothered with this one either, but whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead And I'm going to just drag this off to the side. I'm going to create my pipe material for the second pipe. Grab you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Okay. So that should be all I need for my pipe. I don't really need it on the edges there, but why not? Oh, that's why. No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Do I need anything else here? I'm... Nah, it's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and sewer wall pipes. Let's apply those. Okay. I am going to, as of right now, move these down. And then we're just going to try to scale these up. So, let's see if we can get these to look right. Wow, zipping all over the place. Okay. We're going to go up to like here. I don't think I need to scale it much. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. Let's go ahead and move this all over here. Wow, that might have perfectly scaled, actually. Yeah, really close. Holy crap, it might actually be perfect. Ha! Well, that worked out well. Okay, no, it's probably got a slight sub-pixel error. Whatever, it's good enough. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna just kind of move this all stuff really far away so that these two groups don't get messed up. Let's start. Sure, why not? That makes sense. And you, and you, and what about you? Oh, that's not right. You. What about you? You are way off. Okay. Followed by you, and then what about you? Okay. Oh my god, stop with the lag. Move this out, move you out. I'm assuming this is our, yep. Oh my goodness! Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but for some reason it just shot off. What UV editor is this? This is ProBuilder's UV editor. Is something weird about it? I thought you've used ProBuilder before. Although I guess it's possible you haven't used the UV editor. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and grab it over here. Move that over, and then I'm assuming that this is the last one. Yay, okay. So this is all focused up over there. Okay. So let's go ahead and move this over. Probably to about there is fine. A little bit over to the left. Come on. You can do it. Yeah, I probably should use ProBuilder more, considering that I bought it back when it was, money. And lots of money. Let's see. We're going to move that to there. That's about right. And I mean, it's a really cool tool, and I'm glad that it's natively integrated into Unity now. That's really cool. I just feel like I should get better at using it. Go ahead and grab you. I will say that it is super fun to use when you're prototyping stuff, just because it's really quick to get prototype levels set up. And I would like to use it more for TextQuest proper. It's just that sometimes the UVs are really precise, and I just can't use ProBuilder for it because it's not quite good enough yet. It's really good, but it has its problems. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I'm over here. Over here. Okay. Last one. If I can grab it. If I can grab it. All right. So that is our. Let's go ahead and slide this a little closer to everything else. Probably about there. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Go ahead. Move this over here. Hit save. Okay. I think when I get into content creation mode, I'll be using it more. Yeah. I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, I think the people behind ProBuilder also had a runtime ProBuilder, kind of, which was really cool. It was really rough back when they were pitching the idea, and I don't know if it took off, but I remember that it was a pet project of one of the creators of ProBuilder, I believe. And the idea was that it would basically be like a runtime level editor that you could just have in your game. Uh, but I don't think I really heard anything about it since the initial announcement of it. And it wasn't like a huge front page announcement. It was more like the dev sent out a Twitter post being like, "I've been working on this thing and I think it's kind of cool." Um, but yeah, I mean, it's ProBuilder obviously has very specific use that it's for. Okay, let's go back to my wall editing. I got a little distracted. Move up, come on, work with me. Move this stuff over to here. Okay, put you about there. Works out pretty well. Come on, work with me. And the lag. Go ahead and put this to here. Cool. I probably could actually get rid of that entire wall, honestly, but it's fine. Ah, geez. I'm also going to need to actually model out global illumination bouncers. I don't know what to call those things. They're basically like the light reflectors that photography studios use. I use a similar premise for my global illumination baking. That way, if I have magic flowing through the pipes, the color of the pipes gets reflected onto the wall that the pipe is on. Otherwise, it would actually affect the wall opposite of it, and that makes it look really weird. This looks cool. Man, I can't wait to be out of the prototype phase of this game. Yeah, if well, actually, I was gonna say like the one of the downsides to Pro Builder is that it's not good for natural structures. Like it doesn't handle organic things like hills and caves very well. But it does have polybrush, which is kind of specifically for that almost. And polybrush is really, really cool because it does things like vertex painting. But right now, that's kind of, I think, in a rough spot. After Unity acquired, I don't actually know if they acquired Procore. I feel like they just bought the asset from them and hired them to do the work on it. But polybrush is pretty dang cool. It's just kind of weird to get used to initially. Let's go ahead and move this to there. Looking good. Let's grab this. Pay attention to the cat because, you know, she has such a hard life. Let's go ahead and move this stuff over. Come on. Stop that. Okay. Going out to about here. Cool. Poly is still early. I own it. I own all the assets. Yeah, the downside to Polybrush is that after Procore got hired / acquired / whatever, they don't seem to have really done much work on Polybrush, presumably because Unity wants it to be natively integrated with 18.3, right? 18.3, that seems right. And because of that, the actual base asset just kind of like languished, which is annoying because I like I said, can't really update to 18 yet. So yeah, I just kind of got to live with that, which is a shame. Move this over to here. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and move these guys out again. I forget where that even is. Oh, good, we're almost actually to that point. Okay. Let's drag you over to here. I love that I'm spending time UVing this when no one's going to see these particular faces, but it's important. Okay, let's get rid of you. It actually kind of is important for this because I need it for light bouncing purposes to make the light bounce look better. Okay, let's see. Once we actually have magic flowing through the pipes. Looking good there. Okay, let's go ahead and line this up. And almost good enough. Probably like right about there. Yeah, it looks nice. Okay. Gonna work with me? There we go. Oh, good. It's one of those times. Let's drag you way over here. I kind of feel like the assets that you get on the asset store are a huge gamble nowadays. I mean, I guess they've always kind of been a gamble, but I don't know. Something about recent years makes a lot of the assets feel lazy. Now there are still some really good ones. Typically, scripting packages are really nice, but there's also a lot of schlock out there that's not really doing anything great. Um, But occasionally you'll get some really good stuff like, TextMesh Pro or NGUI, which I don't actually use NGUI anymore. We used it all the time at work until UGUI came out. Um, but NGUI is better than UGUI. We just don't do it. Oh, shh. I hate it when I do that. We just didn't. We swapped from it because, well, it costs money. And also, having a base skill set with Unity's built-in stuff is always going to be preferable to custom solutions. But there have actually been a couple of tools that I've worked on at work with the intention of selling them on the asset store, but I can never just get them up to the level of polish that I'm satisfied with, which is hilarious because the tools that I came up with were way better than what were on the asset store, but I just couldn't get them to a point where I was satisfied. They had lots of cool features, but not good enough. I had to be completely extensible and easy to use and all that stuff. And it's because I personally believe that when you get something on the asset store, you should get something good, and it should be easy to work with. Okay, so that's all of the walls. Let's go ahead and save. And I believe we have all of our pipes in there. Now, we're not done with the pipes. The next thing I need to do actually is I need to model out basically the exact same shape with slight offsets and have a separate material on it. And that is because I need that for material scrolling purposes. Because basically what happens is when there's no magic flowing through the pipes, they look like this. But when there is magic, the pipes become transparent. So the PIPE becomes transparent, and you can see the magic behind it. So I need a different mesh behind these things to have the material scrolling on it. So let's go ahead and move this back over here. So it's out of your guys' way. My favorite assets are the ones that perform a very specific task. Like what, I guess. Unless you're saying specific as in like they're focused only on a specific suite of tools, like NGUI is UI, and it only does UI, but it does a lot of stuff in UI. Okay, let's go ahead and save, and now I need to create another plane. This one is going to be a width of, I guess, 0.5. I'm sorry, a height of 0.5. Oh, really? Why you do that to me, Unity? Or I guess Pro Builder? Why can't I have a half unit for my size? You're going to make it awkward because I'm going to immediately shrink it down. Whatever. Let's go ahead and make it, I guess, 18 width. plane. Oh, dang it. Why did I do that? Pull that back up. Okay, let's grab this again. I'm going to switch to our edge selection. Come on, work with me. You're no fun. There we go. Come on, there we go. Working one thing down. Cool, and now I can actually move this. So we're going to, for the time being, that's probably fine. We're just going to stretch this. Set this up to grab our vertices, or not our vertices, our lines. Go ahead and extrude. So all I'm really going to do here is extrude along. Okay, there we go. Extrude along here, pretty much point for point, and then once we're done, we're going to go into the actual fine-tuned positioning of it, and it's going to be like 0.01 behind the other mesh. I need it to basically be slightly behind it so that it doesn't Z-fight, but not so far behind that it becomes a problem. Although I guess admittedly in this case it's one of those other situations where I don't really need to worry too much because the player doesn't have free control over this. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to set my randomize to 0.01. Hit done here. We're just going to move one thing in. That's all we care about. Nice and easy. Okay, so we're going to need to adjust pretty much everything else so that it's 0.1 behind everything. Oof, this is going to be tough. I'm pretty sure. Stop it! Don't do that! Why you do that to me, Unity? Right about. Oh, jeez, I'm so close. There we go. It's so hard to move tiny increments like that. Okay. So, you know what? Nuts to this. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Makes things a lot easier for me. Rewired between build report tool, TMP. Okay. So yeah, like just very, very, very specific individual tools. Yeah, I've found that system-wide things are nice, but they can get restrictive sometimes. Which is actually the reason why the asset I worked on hasn't really gone onto the asset store, because I've been trying to figure out a way to make it easily extensible. Because one of my most notable pet peeves for assets on the asset store that are code related is when it's like, it does all of these things and only the way that I want them to. And then whenever you try to get them to do something else, it's like, nope, that's not going to work. Nope, that's not going to work. You just get increasingly frustrated until it's, well, kind of crap. Okay, so we're going to go. Stop it. I hate it when I do that. I'm like focusing so much that I accidentally right click. Okay, one behind. And two this way. Okay, let's turn this on. Okay, I think I got it. So we're all done with that pipe. Let's go ahead and let's turn this off. And as far as these pipes are concerned, I actually want them, let's see, I think it's this material. And this is important. Okay, idle versus magic. Okay, yeah. Actually, you know what? I probably want this to be the idle, don't I? So this is actually important. Oh, come on. What are you doing here? There we go. Let's go ahead and apply this. The UV for the magic is important for determining which direction it scrolls. I believe the top UV, or if it's UV to the top, then it flows to the right. If it's UV to the bottom, then it flows to the left. So, some of the big assets like UFPS are do it our way or Yeah, no, UFPS is the bane of my existence. We had to work on a project with that, and I just like we didn't put it in. We were cooperating with another dev team, and they put it in, and it is a nightmare to get it to do anything you want. And of course, it doesn't break if you don't do things the way it wants. It just like shuts everything down and turns the game objects off, and it's like, well, that's stupid. Um, yeah, no, UFPS. UFPS is one of those assets that's really really cool on paper, and then when you try to integrate with it, it's like, nope, not worth it. Because it's so difficult to get it to do anything that you want. Um, okay, so let's go ahead. Select this. Oh, this is interesting. Let's go ahead and move this over here. We're going to select everything. Okay. And let's go ahead and just move this up. Scale this down. So this is actually a scenario where I want it to be going, I want this on the bottom, which means that I need to put it on the bottom and then flip it. So I want to rotate you 180 degrees. Okay. You can tell which way the magic is flowing, by the way, because they make a sort of arrow. So this is going to flow left. Now, not all of these are actually going to need to flow left. Some of them will need to flow right. In particular, these guys. So let me grab you, 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 and you. And I'm going to set these rotations to be 0 again. And they will need to be moved up. To right about there. Okay. And that's pretty much all we need to do for that. Everything else is dependent on us doing this at runtime. So, okay then. Let's go ahead and go back here. Hit save. Let's drag our UV off to the side again. And let's go ahead and turn the walls back on. So now I need to do the pipes for the second, the red pipe, not just the blue pipe. Best way you can use them is to use them as examples. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is it seems like their full project solutions seem to be much better for prototyping purposes than for development purposes, really. I guess while I'm down here, let's go ahead and delete these faces. So they're really useful for throwing a game together, but they're really crap for actually making a game. Delete all of these things. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to delete these faces. Didn't delete anything stupid, did I? Oh, hooray! Oh, come on. Lag. Okay. Let's go ahead and select this, and select you. And I could probably also go ahead and get rid of a couple of... yeah, that's probably fine. Actually, you know what? I'm actually gonna keep these faces. Not, yeah, okay. Not these ones obviously because these are worthless. But I think I'm gonna keep these faces just in case. Okay, and I think do we have any other extra faces that I don't need? No, I think we're good. Okay. Go ahead and save real quick because it's always good to save when you're working with Pro Builder or just in general. Now we need to get the actual pipe magic set up again. So let's go ahead and set up another plane. Let's set our snap values to 0.5 again. Hit done. Come over to here. And I guess probably the best place for me would be to put it in pretty much the exact same place as the blue one, but on the opposite side. So let's go ahead and move this over to here. That looks about right to me. Let's move it out slightly and let's have it face left. Hate it when it does that. 1 and 18. All right, I think we're good. So let's build that plane. Let's switch over. Oh, right. Hold on. Grab you. Down by 0.5. Looking good. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and move this. Okay. Working with me. Move you in. Huh? Okay. I was going to say, am I crazy or is it just not going to... Okay. Let's go ahead and switch over. Extrude that out. Extrude you. Extrude you. All the way. Come on. Work with me. All the way. Alright. Almost done. I guess I could probably just have that be one thing. No reason not to. Let's go ahead and stretch you. Cool. Ah, piece of crap. Ah, piece of crap. No, it's fine. It's not a concern. I was worried about global illumination bouncing, but it's not going to be a concern. I mean, I will have to set up light bouncers, but I was worried that my blue pipe not being here would mean that I wouldn't cast blue light over here, but we're not supposed to cast blue light over there. It should be red, so that's fine. Okay. Switch over to here, and let's go ahead and change our... It's 0.01. Okay. And we're going to just move it in by 1. Nice and easy. That's enough to get rid of the Z fighting, and I can probably just move 1. Okay. Did you get moved back? Really? There we go. Alright, that's probably fine, I think. Okay. So that is... I think that actually solves all of our problems for the most part. Oh, I guess you should probably go in a little bit more. So you're going to need to go in 1 and 2. Are you going to Z fight? No. Good. Okay, no Z fighting. Everything looks good. Cool. Let's go ahead and turn that off. I'm also going to go ahead and just, you know what, let's name these things. Walls. Turn you off. Son of a... Yeah, that's going to be a thing. Okay. So this plane is the blue magic. Pipe magic blue. Okay. Versus pipe magic red. Or magic red. Magic red. Oh my goodness. Let's try this again. Pipe magic red. There. Was that so hard? Apparently, yes. Let's go ahead and apply our magic to it real quick. Let's get that UV sorted. Okay, for the most part, most of this is going to flow to the right. So let's go ahead and move this up to here. Let's scale this down. And down. Probably about there is fine. Let's go ahead and just center it a little bit more. Probably scale it up a little bit more. Yeah, that's about right. It's probably a little smaller than the one on the right, but I think that's okay. Oh shoot, I gotta line up the magic. I forgot to do the UVing for that, so I gotta do that. We will have... This is the only face, I think, that needs to be rotated. So 180. And then I will have it flow down to here. Because all other magic is going to flow to the right for the red pipe. Cool. Okay, so that should be pretty much everything that we would expect. Let's go ahead and get the actual UV set up for these. Oh, come on. I'm trying to grab you here. There we go. here. I have to assume that's you. Haha, I was right. Put you there, and honestly, this one doesn't really matter that much. I can probably just kind of like roughly ballpark it. This guy is fine. You not gonna work with me here? There we go. I'm probably just gonna move this over so that they're more centralized. Probably gonna do the same with you. Okay, I'm gonna try to do the same with you. Just move these so that they're closer to the center, not quite out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so that's the red pipes UV'd. Let's go ahead and get the the blue pipe. There is a green pipe, but it's not in here, so combat doesn't see that. Let's see. What are you? Okay, then. Okay. Let's go ahead and move this over to here. Going all out. Moving you over to there because it's fashion forward. Moving this. I feel kind of bad that I'm not really. I feel like I'm not doing a particularly interesting stream. It's mostly just me kind of making random noises as I try to UV things out. Wow, that was completely friggin' wrong. How on earth is that so wrong? Why? How? Oh, that's why. That's why. It's because I did it backwards. Yes, that would make sense. That would explain why you don't line up. Well, actually, no. You do line up, but it's a coincidence. So really, what should be happening here is probably like this. Isn't it? Yep, that's about right. Okay, so I actually want this to, since it's upside down, I actually need it to go the other way, which means I need to probably relay out my red one. Actually, no, I don't, because those were going to the right, and to the right is laid out anyway. I'm working anyway. Yeah, I feel like that's what most people do whenever I do my Devstream. Which, I mean, is obviously fine. Okay, so that's that. Let's go ahead and grab you all the way out to here. And you're actually going... Hold on. I did this stupidly again, didn't I? Yeah, because this is that one. So I need to move you to here. Okay. Put you to there, and we're good. Cool. Let's go ahead and finalize our magic over here. So we want this to go in correct order now. So like that. And like you. Okay. Okay. Right about there. Doing a really useful script. It runs before a build or before editor play mode, so now I can automate some work. Nice. Yeah, I really want to do more with runtime changes. I feel like that could be an interesting area to do some tooling. I don't know what I would do, but it would be kind of interesting. Because I've done some stuff like set the... There's a weird thing you can set up so that it will, when you hit play, load a scene. Instead of the one that you're actively in, it'll like dump you into a different scene to play. And I've set up a tool to automate that so you can have like a personal preference and say like I want to jump to the scene whenever I hit play. But aside from that, I haven't really done anything particularly interesting tooling wise for level or for hitting play. Actually, no, that's a lie. At work, I did. So we're working with another team, on a project at work, and the other team is pretty inexperienced, and a lot of them have no concept of project organization, so they were just like dumping crap in the root of the project. And we got so fed up with that, trying to organize that stuff out because it just made the project a mess. It made it hard to know who was working on what and whose assets belong to who. So I wrote a script that when you hit play, it searches the root of the project and it basically takes into account what assets are there. And there's a green list of assets that can be in there, and if there's an asset in the root of the project that should not be there, a little pop up shows up before you hit or after you hit play that says, "Hey there, I see that you have assets in the root that should not be there. Here are the assets," and it lists like the path to them. And then it's like it has two options. Uh, the default option, which is "I'll fix it now," stops the game from playing, so it stops play mode and boots you back out. And the second one is "I'll fix it before I commit." But I was particularly proud of that tool just because it was really really fun to write, and it was very much a necessity with that project, I felt. Um, okay, so we're going over to there. I'm going to go revisit my red one because I'm pretty sure that. Okay, so I think it's correct there, and it's probably, well, I guess I only have the one here, so never mind. Yeah, I don't have to worry about it on the red one. Cool. So now those are UV'd properly. Um, so yeah, if nothing else, if you can take nothing else away from Unity editor scripting, it's that you can make tools to make sure that people you're working with follow your rules for project organization. Let's see. And specifically, it populates a scriptable object with stuff in a folder. When I change the stuff in the folder, I don't have to remember to manually update the scriptable object. That's interesting. What do you have to populate a scriptable object at runtime? Would that work at play mode? Because I feel like folder references don't work in builds. And that's something to always be careful of, because once when I was first getting started with Unity editor scripting, I tried to make a scene tool basically that would it would associate enums with scene names so that it would know what to load. But the problem is I didn't associate the enums with the scene names. I associated the enums with the scene objects, like the assets themselves, and those don't exist at build time or at runtime. They only exist in the editor. So that ended up coming back to bite me. It's kind of annoying, but. Okay, so those are now built. Let's go ahead and rename these things so that I can get everything proper. So this will be Great 02. We'll call this Great 01. Walkway right. This is going to be probably walkway left. Let's see. This is walkway rear. And then water. And then I need another walkway, so I'm probably just gonna rename these walkways. So I'll say like walkway 01, 02, 03, and walkway 04. Okay. And I think the only things we have left to UV are the floor. Oh, and I need the ceiling still. I keep forgetting the ceiling. But I guess real quick, let's go ahead and UV the floor, which I'm probably going to try to do all of them at once, if possible. It'll be really nice if I can. I think I can. If I remember my children's movie, as long as I keep saying I think I can, eventually I will do it. So let's select all of those. This is going to be a nightmare. An absolute travesty. I'm pretty sure that it's 3 things deep. So let's go ahead and try to scale that. Oh boy. Yeah, it's going to be. So probably something like, I want to make it 4 things deep. You know what, here, let's cancel that out real quick. I'm going to take a look at the main scene, see what that looks like. Okay, sewers. They are editor paths, not runtime. It's a build time thing. Okay. Oh, right. You said you were looking at build time stuff. Um, that makes sense. Interesting. Huh. What are you trying to do with that, I guess? I'm curious. Is it just for, I don't know. Hmm. I can't really think of what the situation would be off the top of my head. I'm assuming once I hear it, I'll feel stupid. Or be really impressed, one of the two. Okay, let's see. So, probably we want... Man, I feel like I should re-UV this, actually. That's kind of... I'm not sure how I feel about that, actually. Especially because I did it there. Hmm. 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 Well, whatever. So they're kind of facing one way, and then they're kind of not for another. So these guys are going to be facing one particular way. That's fine. So let's go ahead and jump over to here. So these are all facing the correct way for... Oh, shoot. You know what? Hold on. Not sewers combat. Not sewers. Okay. Fly over here. Let's see. It's all facing right. Right. I guess that makes sense. The idea behind this is that it should always face the direction as... So if you can read the text, then you know you're going in the right direction. Which means that I need to just kind of follow my own rules there. And then it should work. Hello, Cookie. Welcome to the Devstream. See, example, I have scriptable objects for each object pool setting, and a scriptable object as a reference to each pool scriptable object. Interesting. So you're doing pooling through your scriptable objects? That's interesting. Every time I make a new prefab, new object pool, and so for that prefab, I had to manually update the parent reference. I'll be automated when I press play. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back. Fly back. So these guys are... Oh, dang it, you know what I... No, that's fine, yeah. So this needs to get flipped. So let's go ahead and grab you. We're just going to rotate you 180 degrees. Okay, pretty simple there. You need to also be flipped. Oh, that was super weird. Okay. And I have to sneeze. Excuse me. I gotta stretch. Been I hunch over whenever I do any sort of modeling because I gotta get like really close to it to look at it. Man, starts to eat away at you. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate these guys 180 degrees. Okay, and let's see. Oh, geez, what happened? Okay. Ah, geez, like my floors are all just upside down, aren't they? Yeah, they kind of are. Okay. I'm just going to flip them all because they all just need to flip. So let's go ahead and just rotate you 180 degrees. Let's just go ahead and rotate you 180 degrees. Oh, shoot. Can't just flip them all because these guys on the actual waterway are correct. So I guess I'm just going to do you then? Is that correct? Aha! Yes, it is. Cool. So let's go ahead and rotate you guys. Very realistic. I only go for the most photoreal textures, let me tell you. Because if they weren't as photorealistic as this, do you think you could tell what a texture was? No. You've never seen a game where it was so immediately obvious what you were looking at. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate these guys. Oh, dang it! I should have known. Should have known better. That should be 0. Okay, let's see. You and you need to rotate 180 degrees. Okay. Yeah, all the walls are bump mapped because they need that nice little subtlety to them. It's admittedly somewhat hard to see when I have the lighting turned off. It's a little bit easier to see here, but yeah, every texture has normal maps and metallic roughness maps and all that. So it's all fully PBR, baby. Because why not? Okay, let's grab you and oh, also welcome back, Cache Override. How you doing tonight? Let's see. I'm gonna rotate you 180 degrees. Rotate this 180 degrees, and then I'll probably be done if it doesn't lag me out of existence. And 180 degrees. All right. Sleepy? How can you be sleepy? It's only 9 p.m. where I am. And if it's 9 p.m. where I am, then how could anyone in the world be sleepy, regardless of time zone? Oh, you know what I totally forgot is I still need to make the metal bars, too. So I still need metal bars, the ceiling, and global illumination bouncers. I don't know what the technical term for those things is. There is a term, I just don't know what it is. I always thought they were like light bouncers or something. Okay, let's make sure everything else looks nice. Okay, I think we're in the clear to scale that stuff up, so let's go ahead and just grab all of these. Actually, no, before we do that, let's go ahead and save. Let's grab all of these, and then we're just going to scale them up in the UV and get them to look nice. Let's see. Light probes. It's a good name if you think about how they work. Well, no, it's not light probe. Wait, is that actually what they're called? I don't mean light probes as in the Unity light probe system. I mean there's a... Although that kind of does seem correct. I feel like light probe isn't correct. No, you might be good, or you might be right. Nah. Alright, either way. Who am I to know? So it's basically... Hold on. I guess it's like a light bouncer. It's basically like this. It's the like very reflective, shimmery material that people will hold up on film sets or in photography studios. And the idea is that it's supposed to bounce the light off of you, or not off of you, from the reflective surface. It bounces the light off of it to give your lighting a much more diffuse look, so you don't have as harsh of shadows. And that's essentially what we're building. So it's like this material here. I forget what they're called, but multi-disc, I don't know, whatever. There's a name for it. I don't know what it is. Because I am not a cultured photographer. Okay, let's go ahead and scale this all up to like right about there. That seems about right. Holy crap, that was like almost perfect. Let's go ahead and... Are we happy with that? That's 4 things. That's pretty dang good. I don't think we quite got the best size over here, but that's probably fine. Maybe, let's see if I can... it's so close, but not quite. It's just like the real thing. It's not quite high enough, or not quite scaled enough, but not quite terrible enough. Let's go ahead and move this up a little bit. that. I don't know. Is it better to do that or is it better to do... I feel like that's fine. Okay. Actually, you know what? No, I need to scale everything up way more. Because right now the stone, or the the floor does not look quite correct next to the giant wall stones. So I'm probably going to need to scale it up a little bit more. Work with me here. Where? Oh, right, I got to select it all. Okay. So I guess I'm going to make these things 3 things deep. Which I think is about actually correct. It's probably something like that, I feel. Yeah, that definitely feels a lot better. Shiny circles. Reflectors, that's what it is. Yeah, essentially what I'm going to create is a series of reflectors so that when my pipes come on and they have their global illumination enabled, the light will bounce off of those reflectors back onto the wall that the pipe is on, so that it's a much more dramatic color effect. It's not realistic technically, but it is a much more pleasing effect. So that's better. I like that more. It would be better if I had that line up a little bit in such a way that it wasn't quite as ugly, but it's fine. Well, you can probably move at the very least. Let's go ahead and move you down to like, I don't know. Yep, come on, work with me here. Something like that. Sure. Okay. Let's try for that instead. That works better. Just that I don't get floor stone. Okay. How about you guys? You're all pretty chill. We're not quite correct, though, are we? Nope, we are definitely not. So do you still play this game with text input? You do. That is very much what you do. And real quick, because I actually need to go back to the sewer level for a reference, I can show you what that looks like. So if I just hit play, we're probably going to get some annoying floating editors in the middle of our gameplay. Just a hunch. Pretty sure that that's going to be the case, though. Yep. So if you can ignore the very annoying floating utility windows, you do actually move around and you can interact with things. So I'm not close enough to that. If you go into dark areas, there is a chance that you'll get eaten by grooves if you go too far in. Well, not a chance, you will definitely get eaten by grooves if you go too far in. And we can do things like check out our inventory. I can examine the key. Not the keep. There would be examine key. Key is somewhat, or the key smells somewhat foul. All that stuff. So yeah, it's a full-on first-person text-based adventure. Okay, and oh yeah, I do need to get the UVs for the water set up, but I also want to look at the water, and I believe it's 4 and 4. Yes, that's about right. Okay. Stop playing. Let's jump back to our sewer combat modeling. I am going to grab freaking polybrush. That is one of the downsides to polybrush, is occasionally it just decides to turn itself on. All the lag. It's a weird concept. I will admit to that. And I feel like it's one of those weird things where unless you are, well, I don't know. It's an interesting enough concept that I feel like just by seeing it in action, people are kind of enticed by it. Also, thank you, Slamtastic, for the follow. But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy it as a concept, and it lets you experiment a lot as a player. You can just do a bunch of really crazy stuff. Okay, So I need to grab uh, all of these faces. Now you might be wondering why. Why does he have to grab all of these faces? And the answer may surprise you. Actually, it won't surprise you very much, but it's because, as you can see, they're partially buried underneath water. All I'm going to do is slightly raise them so that they are immediately legible. It's a little bit of a trick, but you know, it works. So let's swap out here. I'm going to select you and you and you and all of you. Come on, work with me here. Looking good. Looking good. Oh, these are technically two separate things. Oh, that's fine though. Grab you. Grab you. Okay. And I guess I might as well do it on these guys as well. All at once. No reason not to. Okay. Why are you messing with all of those faces? So all of these faces in particular are because I want to make them more legible slightly. Because right now you can see that they're slightly underneath the water and it makes it hard to read what they are. I know that that's a small detail, but you know I'm all about that small detail. Or those small details. Thank you for the follow, Cookie. Alright, let's go ahead and awkwardly move these all up by a little bit. I'm sure that some of them will probably move up and some will probably move down. So basically I want to do like that. Just so that you can immediately read them. Okay, and pretty good all over the board. Let's go ahead and lower them just a little bit. Like right about there. Oh, good. Some are lower than others. Of course. We'll go ahead and set you guys because you are more appropriate. We're gonna move you down actually. Oh no, I lied. There we are. Okay. So we're gonna want to move these faces down slightly. And you. One more. Okay. So we're just going to move you to about there. Cool. And now all I need to do is align those faces so they actually form a seamless pattern. Oh, which is funny, this one does not, but I actually don't need to worry about this. Well, no, I shouldn't need to worry about that one. I can just have its own ugly face. It's hideous. Okay. Let's go ahead and I guess one by one come over here. This will also give me a chance to correct a couple of issues. So let's see. What about you? So let's, I suppose, yeah, this is going to be fun. Let's start dragging these over. Right about there. Okay. Where are you? Got a little bit of overlap, but that's okay. Right about there. And here's where it gets kind of iffy. I actually want to grab you and move you down. So like right about there, just so that it lines up a little bit better. Okay, now we're going to need to grab both of these things and move them over. Right about here. Okay. Looks pretty good. It's a little far away. Probably right about there. Nice. God, it's been so long since I've done UVing. It's kind of nostalgic. Let's go ahead and move this over. And actually, you know what? I'll probably just do this one, and then I'll work on the global illumination stuff, and then the ceiling, and then we'll probably call it a night after that. Just because I feel like UVing is not the most interesting thing for people to watch because it's mostly repetitive tasks. If I could, I would totally have some algorithm do it for me, but I don't know how to do that because that does not. It's all fine-tune eye positioning after all, so I can't really think of a way to automate it. Do this because sometimes I also have to break my own rules to get a more interesting texture anyway. What are you? Oh, good, you're farther down, so let's move you over here. And then we're going to move you over to here. Okay, let's drag you to there. Let's see. Ever since I've discovered Unfold 3D, I feel the need to mention it whenever someone talks about UV wrapping. So yeah, Unfold 3D, it's magic. Unfold 3D. I feel like, is that what I'm thinking it is? Huh. Is this just a Maya plugin? Hmm. And no, it's not auto unwrapping like everyone assumes. It's a standalone tool. Okay. I thought I remember hearing a bunch of people talk about a standalone UV tool recently, but I don't remember what it was called. Maybe that's what it was. Admittedly, I don't really need the stuff I need for my UV tools isn't particularly advanced. It's largely just that I have so many precise UVs that I have to lay out. Right. Also, this is not done because, for obvious reasons, if my textures aren't lined up properly, then the words, the text break, and it becomes far more frustrating to look at. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and move this in. So that's why I'm always super uh, uptight about how my textures are working together, or are how my UVs are meshed together, because it's very important for the textures that they are, well, accurate. Okay, so let's go ahead and I want to move this over here. Save this. Yeah, it would not be suited for this kind of stuff, more general model unwrapping stuff. Yeah, and admittedly, actually, for the most part, well, it might be useful there. A lot of the unwrapping tools that I have used are kind of part of Substance, if I recall correctly. I think it has some rudimentary unwrapping tools to let you paint. They work pretty well. But okay, so I'm going to need two. I could probably get away with one, but no, I'm going to make it two. So I'm going to make a new plane. Its orientation is going to be to the right. Let's move this over to here. Move it up, over, down. Okay, and we're going to make this, 0 width segments, 0 length segments. We're going to move it up to here. We're going to have a height or width of 18, not 180, a width of 18, and then a height of 7. Okay, I'm going to move this over to here. So typically, you know what, actually here, I'm going to save this. We're going to jump over to the sewers level. I don't actually remember how far away I positioned it. I think it's 1 meter. Yeah, it's about 1 meter. Okay. I don't want to put it too close to the wall, because if I do it too close, then it won't bounce light as expected. So it's important for me to have good distance. So about 1 meter is probably fine. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and we are going to. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and we'll bake that out. Build plane. We're going to grab this face. Let's extrude this to about there. And then we'll extrude it to about here. And here's the fun thing is, it looks like I'm modeling it backwards, but actually I want the face to face the wall because it's going to bounce the light. If I had it face the other way, the light would just pass through it. Okay. Oop. I was going to say, I knew something was up. Okay, looking good there. Let's grab you. We're going to extrude out 1 meter. Let's go ahead and extrude down. And then, okay, if it decides to let me do it, you and you. Grab you. And you. I think that's right. Yeah. Grab you. Okay, and finally, just you. All right, so that is our red reflector. And now we need one for the right. I guess, what do I have? I think I called it like GI bounce. I do not remember what I called it. We'll have to look at that in the other scene. Let's go ahead and real quick create another plane. It's going to face to the left this time, which means that it's going to be 7 and 18. Let's go ahead and move this way over here. Let's just go ahead and reset its position so that I can manually position it right there. And one out. Move you over to here. Okay, that works pretty well. Let's go ahead and hit build. I am going to actually have to extrude this even though I don't have anything actually going out here. I need it for bouncing purposes to make sure that it looks correct. So I'm actually going to have it like extend a little bit past just so that I don't get blue light spilling over to this wall, which it shouldn't. Okay, let's grab you. Extrude out by 2, well, 1 meter technically. Grab you, and grab you. And then the extruding begins. Okay. And then all the way down. 1, 2. Okay, looking good. Let's go ahead and extrude. One more. And probably... That's fine. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So that is our blue reflector. That's pretty much everything we need it to be, so let's go ahead and save that. Okay, before... Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. It's because it's invisible. Let's go ahead and I'm going to jump back here to my sewer level real quick. Just to see what material I'm using here. Light bounce, that's what I called it. Okay. So let's go ahead and apply that. Let's go ahead and apply this. It's a very specific material. It doesn't, I don't think it really does anything. In fact, I think it's actually just like a regular basic standard material. It's just set up to bounce light in such a way that I can control it a little bit better. Okay, I think we're good across the board here. The only thing I have left now, besides some minor UVing, is the ceiling. So let's go ahead and model that out real quick. By far, that's going to be the easiest one. This is going to be facing down. Let's go ahead and have it preview, zero it out. We'll give it a, you know, I actually don't know how wide that is. I think it's 2, 2, and 2, so that's probably 6 meters across. So I'm going to try to position things at this pivot because that seems to be where I'm putting a lot of my pivots. Let's move it down, right about there. Okay, so we're gonna have it be 6 with a width of 18. Let's go ahead and build the plane. All right, grabbing you, stretching that out. So close. Okay. Stretching you. And frozen. Okay. Phew. So that's 5 out. Yep. Okay. Almost done. Going to you. Going to you. Going to you. All the way over. And okay. Okay. Come on. Work with me. Why are you doing this? There. Jeez. Extrude out. About there. Over to here. And finally, end R. Oh, shoot. You know what? I almost forgot again. The freaking bars. Kind of important. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's see. I think it's going to be forward. Show this. Let's zero that out before I forget, just so that I don't forget. I'm going to move you to here. And I think we're going to put it, let's see, we said like probably about there. Move you to here. And you're going to be 7 tall. Okay, so build plane. And that should be pretty good. So this is going to be our red magic reflector. Magic reflector. Here is our ceiling. And then we will end with our bars. Okay. Let's go ahead and real quick apply our, let's do grading, bars, super bars. Let's go ahead and apply that. All kinds of weirdness going on there. So let's just real quick scale that down. Probably make it something like that, I feel. Let's see if we can get that a little bit closer. Hold on. I really want this to be right. Something like right about there. Seems about right. Let's move you over a little bit. Okay, making sure that we don't see any extra stuff here. Okay, so that should be good. So that is pretty much what our layout looks like. So we've made a rough layout for our actual combat scene to take place in. Next time we will get more of the actual combat set up. I'll probably make a little bit of progress over the weekend, so I would hope so. And then we'll see how far we can get before we run into problems. But before I forget, I guess I will go ahead and assign the pipes here. So sewer pipes. Yeah, all kinds of weirdness. Oh, geez, I forgot how much I'm going to have to... I hate the sewer ceiling. The UVs were nuts for me to set up. God, it's going to suck. Okay, I'm not going to do that tonight, because, well, on the stream anyway. Okay, so that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. We got pretty much everything modeled out and textured that we need to. The main concerns that we have before we say that we're done with the models is I need to make sure that their UV2s are actually generated properly. That's been a huge issue for ProBuilder. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I typically have to export to Maya to clean up, is because ProBuilder, for some reason, just doesn't generate UV2s properly. I don't know if it just doesn't save them, or if it's another problem as a result of the export process, but in any case, that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. So, announcements. I don't have anything off the top of my head, so we should be fine to do our normal Devstream on Saturday. We will be hopefully finishing up our vertical scrolling shoot 'em up experiments. Just getting used to the EC2 or the EC2. That's an Amazon thing. The ECS stuff. So we'll see what we can get done on Saturday with that, because I'm kind of curious to see what else we can pull off with ECS and other Unity stuff. I might actually upgrade to Unity 2 or 2018.2 and see if there's anything useful in there that could be interesting to work with. But in any case, that is a pretty good place to stop for the night. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.